Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum students. How are you? I hope you will be fine. We are studying chapter number 4 and we are learning structure of molecules. Today our topic of discussion is types of chemical bonds. Before I discuss this topic, I will describe the two types of electrons. There are two types of electrons, bonding electrons and non-bonding electrons. Bonding electrons are those electrons which take part in the formation of the chemical bond. They sit in the incomplete or partially filled outermost shell. Non-bonding electrons are those electrons which do not take part in the formation of the chemical. Non-bonding electrons may be in outermost shell or inner shells. To explain this fact, we take the example of water molecule. In water molecule, oxygen atom is combined with two hydrogen atoms. These two, oxygen atom has 6 electrons in its outermost shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. To complete its outermost shell, it needs 2 electrons. Oxygen atom takes 2 electrons from 2 hydrogen atoms and complete its outermost shell. This is the electron of oxygen and it's the electron of hydrogen. It's the electron of oxygen and it's the electron of hydrogen, and hence these two are the bonding electrons which are held together in the molecule of water. These two are the bonding electrons, and these two which are also present on the oxygen atom and they are not taking part in the formation of the chemical bond. These are known as the non-bonding electrons, which will be explained later. Depending on the way by which these bonding electrons combine to form the chemical bond, there are 4 types of the chemical bond: ionic bond, covalent bond, coordinate covalent bond and metallic bond. Coordinate covalent bond is also known as the dative covalent bond. Today we will discuss the ionic bond in detail. As the name shows, ionic bond. Ions are formed by the transfer of electrons. By gaining or losing the electrons, the ions are formed. So the ionic bond is formed between the ions. Ionic bond is formed by the complete transfer of electron from one atom to another atom. Now the question arises, which type of elements form ionic bond? To answer this question, we will see the modern periodic table. In periodic table, the group 1 and group 2 have the tendency to lose the electrons, and these are the metals. Since they can lose the electrons, so they are known as the electropositive elements. Group number 15, 16 and 17 are non-metals and they have the tendency to accept the electrons and they are electronegative. When the elements of these two groups, electropositive and electronegative, are allowed to react, they will form the ionic bond. To understand this fact, we take the example of formation of sodium chloride. At ground state, the sodium atom having the atomic number 11 has the electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s1. Sodium atom has only one electron in its third orbit in its subshell S. Chlorine, having the atomic number 17, has the electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p5. It has 7 electrons in its outermost shell and it needs only one electron to complete its outermost shell. Sodium atom loses one electron from its s orbit to complete its outermost shell. After the transfer of electron, sodium atom will have positive charge on it and one electron will be lost and its electronic configuration will be like this: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 close to the noble gas neon. The electron lost by the sodium atom is accepted by the chlorine atom and it gains negative charge, and after accepting this one electron, its outermost shell is completed having the 8 electrons and its electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. This electronic configuration is close to the noble gas argon. This diagram will help you to understand the transfer of electron from sodium to chlorine. This outermost orbit of sodium has only one electron. When it will lose this electron, this shell will be vanished and the inner shell, second orbit, will become the valence shell having the 8 electrons and it will be stable. Chlorine atom, which is having already 7 electrons in its outermost shell, will accept this electron and it will also complete its outermost shell having the 8 electrons and it will also become stable. After complete transfer of electron, the situation will be like this. Sodium atom will have positive charge and chlorine atom will have negative charge. Now having opposite charges, these two ions will have electrostatic forces of attraction and these two ions will be held together in the sodium chloride formula unit. And thus the sodium element and the chlorine element are held together in the sodium chloride substance. Whole process of transfer of electron from sodium to chlorine in sodium chloride can be expressed in this equation like this. Sodium plus chloride ion will combine together by electrostatic forces of attraction between positive and negative ions and they will form the sodium chloride formula unit in the sodium chloride substance. I hope you got the lecture, but I summarize my lecture. Ionic bond is a type of chemical bonds which is formed by the complete transfer of electron from one atom to another atom. And the bonding electrons are those electrons which take part in the formation of the chemical bond and the non-bonding electrons are those electrons which do not take part in the chemical bonding. Now we discuss the important questions from the examination point of view. First we will discuss the short questions. Question number 1 is what are the bonding electrons? Its answer I have explained in the lecture and you can quote the example of water in its answer also. Question number 2 is what are the electrostatic forces of attraction? Electrostatic forces of attraction are those forces which holds the ions together in a formula unit and it exists between ions. The example of sodium chloride will be written in its answer. Question number 3 is define ionic bond. Ionic bond is a type of chemical bond which is formed by the complete transfer of electron from one atom to another atom. It's a short answer, its definition is enough, but you can also write the formula of sodium chloride in its answer. Question number 4 is write electronic configuration of chloride ion. Its configuration is written in the lecture and I have written it in detail. You can write that in its answer and quote its example. Question number 5 is what is the difference between electropositive and electronegative elements and to which groups they belong? To answer this question, you will write the definition of electropositive and electronegative elements. That is, the electropositive elements are those which can lose the electrons and these are the metals and they belong to the first two groups. And the electronegative elements are non-metals and they have the tendency to accept the electrons and they belong to the 15 to 17 groups. Sodium atom and the chlorine atom are written in its example. Question number 6 is write different types of chemical bond. Since it's a short question, so only the name will be written here. That is the ionic bond, covalent bond, coordinate covalent bond, or the dative bond and metallic bond is its answer. Now we will discuss the long question that is define and explain ionic bond in detail giving example. When you will write it answer, then first of all give the heading of definition and write its definition and then give the heading of explanation. In its explanation, the formation of the sodium chloride and the diagram and its electronic configuration will be explained. Today our lecture is completed. Next we will discuss the covalent bond. At the end I will advise you to stay home, stay safe. Allah Hafiz.